Welcome to Birds of Prey Sports Talk, where we weekly cover Ravens and Orioles news. We're your hosts, TJ and Jared. And in this video, we're going to be doing the pregame to the biggest game of the season as of yet. Your number one seed, Baltimore Ravens versus Houston Texans
Yep.
this Saturday, 4:30 at the bank for all the marbles. So,
No,
oh,
one third of the marbles.
as of now, but we're excited. We're pumped to go to that game. Thank you again, to you and your mom, for just thank you. I just thank you guys. I'm happy. This is our first playoff game going. Both of our I'm sorry, I can't even speak right now. This is both of our
Blah,
first
blah, 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 blah.
this is both our first playoff games. And so, we've been every game we've been to, the Ravens been winning. Hopefully our magic can extend to this game, but let's just get into it. I'll just start by saying, a couple of my thoughts about this game. It's going to be nice to see a new rivalry. Lamar Jackson versus CJ Stroud. It's kind of a new rivalry going on, something refreshing, other than Mahomes and Allen or Mahomes and Burrow or, it's Jackson versus Stroud. And I think it's going to be a great game. CJ Stroud has definitely improved since we saw him in week 1. That's like 6 months ago. It seems so long ago. And, their offense and defense has definitely stepped up. I mean, and they're going to be without their two best wide receivers, Tank Dell and Noah Brown. So, it's going to be a tough game. CJ Stroud definitely has performed well even without Tank Dell. So, I expect it to be a gunslinger duel. All those people are saying that the Texans got to keep Lamar Jackson in the pocket. Have you looked at the Ravens games this season? He's been carving teams up while he's having time in the pocket. So, it's just gonna be a gunslinger duel, man. I wouldn't be surprised if it gets into the 30s. Hopefully we can blow them out, but this is the playoffs, so we're gonna get the best of teams and we got the bullseye on our back. So what do you think about this game?
Yeah, I mean, we might get some huge additions to this game, with Dalvin Cook. And then I don't know if you know yet, but Mark Andrews was a full participant today in practice. So, you know, a lot of people are speculating that he's playing on Saturday. So, I mean, that's gonna be electric. He hasn't played since what, November what, 26, something like that. It's a little bit ago, so it'd be an incredible return, for an incredible matchup. This is a really good matchup, despite why might one might say, obviously the Texans are missing Tank Dell. They're missing somebody else. I forgot his name. But do you know who I'm thinking of right now?
I'm sorry, I got a call. Can you repeat that question you asked me?
Oh yeah. The Texans are missing Tank Dell and somebody else. They're not missing Noah
Yeah.
Brown, are they?
I think Noah Brown is inactive for this game.
And I know
He
Will Anderson missed practice today. He was limited yesterday and missed practice today. So
Yeah.
that's huge for those two. That's huge for the Texans. Well, huge for us, not huge for them. I guess it's huge in a negative way for them. But yeah, I mean, this game, honestly, it better be loud. If I had to be honest with you, it better be loud. And you know, I've been thinking about it all week. I mean, I've been thinking it was actually more than all week, all the past 2 weeks. Whenever how long I've had these tickets, I'm freaking pumped for this game. Just a rookie quarterback coming to Baltimore. Hopefully, we rattle him. I just need everybody to step up. And honestly, the differences between this team and 2019 team is our coordinators are less stubborn. They're willing to make change in a game. And that's huge. And that I believe that's probably what was holding us back this whole time, is our coordinators being stubborn in the moment. And we've seen a Mike McDonald defense in the playoffs already. They shut down Joe Burrow. Like if it wasn't for that fumble, they would have lost that game. I mean, be honest here. We would have beat them last year. Now, I couldn't promise we would have beat the Bills or beat the Chiefs or whatever, but we definitely would have beat the Bengals. So, I mean, coulda, woulda, shoulda, right? I guess. So, um, I don't know. It's just I'm more confident in play caller. Yeah, I mean, not me, but Munkin and McDonald as play callers, and Martindale and Roman. And I mean, they've given me no reason not to. So this team has had an immense growth over the few weeks or over the year, and they've looked even stronger as the season went on.
Yep.
Sometimes teams kind of are sluggish heading into the playoffs. They may lose 3 out of 4, or they might lose a few in a row. But the Ravens have done the complete opposite. And our toughest stretch when it was what was it? It was like the Jaguars, the 49ers, the Dolphins, or whatever it was. Or who else was it? There was the third team in there. I forgot. But those three I can remember. People were like, well, in that 4 game split, I think it was the Rams in there. In that 4 game split, win at least two, at least go 500. No, we won all four. We won all four. And that's how crucial it is for the Ravens right now. Is they're getting hot, and they're getting hot at the right time. Now, will Russ play a factor? I don't know. But I mean, what do you think about that? Do you think Russ might play a factor into this game?
I don't think so. Like we had in our video comparing, this team to the 2019 team, this team is locked in. I think this
Mhm.
team has a lot more, experience, a little bit more veterans. We got guys like OBJ, Nelson Aguilar. They've won Super Bowls before. So we have a lot of experience on an offense instead of just young guys. This is their first go around or their first time even being in the playoffs in general. So I feel like, maybe we'll see it on the first drive, but in terms of like the whole game, no. I feel like we're gonna start out fast, and that's how we should start. That's how we kind of been starting out in all of these games, starting out fast. So I don't think rust would be a problem,
Right.
not for too long at least.
And
And by the way,
honestly,
it
go
was the
ahead.
Rams, Jaguars, 49ers, and Dolphins.
Oh, the Rams, you said?
Yeah, Rams, Jaguars, 49ers, Dolphins. Yep.
Okay, so yeah, that's what I thought. So honestly, this is just so huge. This just has a chance to really like cement Lamar as an elite quarterback. I mean, me and you believe it, but this type of game, and this type of run can cement Lamar into an elite quarterback for other people, maybe even the doubters. And honestly, I just think the one thing that I've been worried about, and I really shouldn't worry about it, and no Ravens fans should, but if we win the Super Bowl, what is the first thing that's going to be said? Oh, all these quarterbacks were hurt. All these teams had these injuries. If the Bengals had Burrow, if the Browns had Watson, if whoever had whoever, like they would have won. And I don't know. I just feel like that's lame. I feel like that's cheap. Because you're dealt the cards, you got to use them. You know, and honestly, if you really think about it, every team left in the playoffs right now. We haven't even played a game in the playoffs, but
Yeah.
every team left has their starting quarterback.
Yep.
Like Allen, Mahomes, Stroud, Goff, Mayfield, Purdy, and whoever they're playing. Oh, Love. So they all got their starting quarterbacks. 8 teams left, 8 starting quarterbacks. And honestly, I don't know how this defense is going to play, but there's just a certain like if you watch the Packers and Cowboys game, this is something I brought up to you. They look like they had some different energy. Like they looked like they came in there and knew they were going to win.
Yep.
And I'm pretty sure every team thinks that, but they looked like they thought it and they acted it out. That's what's needed. If honestly, if you think about Lamar's few playoff runs in 2018 and maybe 2019 as well, well, that wasn't even a playoff run. It was a playoff game,
Yep.
Those teams didn't seem like they had a fire in them. Like, I don't know what it would like. Just thinking of, like back about it, like there just seems to be no fire back then. But now there seems to be all fire. Like at this point, I'm like all gas, no brakes at this point. And I don't know, there just seems to be a fire. Like it's like a bring your own energy type scenario. And
Yep.
we're gonna be at home. Look, honestly, if we can't win this year, then we might never win it again because it's set up for us perfect. We're at home for the next 2 games. It's probably gonna be loud. It's probably gonna be cold. Let's take care of business. Like honestly, like I am done, with this playoff narrative Lamar has. You know what? He's 1-3. Let's make it 4-3 this year. How
Yep.
about that? Let's make it 4-3 this year. That's kind of what I gotta say. Before we get to the stats and everything. You got anything else to bring up?
Let's go. Let's get to the stats.
All right. All right. So to get into stats here, the Houston Texans. I guess we should mention they defeated the Cleveland Browns last week in the wild card weekend. kind of dominated them in a way. Was it 45-14?
About 14. Yep.
45, yeah. So not a classic beatdown in the wild card game, and I guess we could have saw it coming, but also not at the same time because I thought the Browns defense was a little bit better than that, but obviously not. So, anyways, to move on to the stats here, the Houston Texans offense averages 23.4 points per game, which is 11th in the league. They average 340 they average 343.1 yards per game, which is 12th in the league. Points per play is 0.347, which is ninth in the league. Yards per play is 5.5, which is 12th in the league. Third down conversion rate is at 37.50%, which is 20th in the league. So they're not converting on a lot of third downs, it seems. And fourth down percentage is one of the worst in the league, which is at 38.10%, which is 30th in the league. Red zone scoring percentage touchdowns is 55.36%, which is 16th, so mid. Touchdowns per game is at 2.6, which is 10th in the league. The Houston defense opponents' points per game is at 20.4, which is 10th in the league. So their defense looks to be pretty solid. Opponent yards per game is at 330.3, which is 14th in the league. Opponent points per play is at 0.319, which is ninth in the league. Opponent yards per play, I'm sorry, is 5.2, which is 14th in the league. Opponent third down conversion rate is at 36.36%, which is seventh in the league. So they're pretty good at stopping teams on third down. And their opponent fourth down conversion percentage is 48.48. That's funny, percent. Which is 15th in the league. Look at this. It's 36.36 and 48.48. Anyway, opponent red zone scoring percentage, touchdowns is at 53.57%, which is 13th in the league, and opponent touchdowns per game is at 2.2, which is 11th in the league. So, obviously their offense is very high. They seem to rely a lot on big chunk plays. They seem to rely a lot on not getting a third down because, as you can see, they're not the worst, but they're not the best on third down. Their defense seems to give up a decent chunk of yardage a game, a decent chunk of yardage per play, but D'Amico Ryans is their head coach, defensive guy who came from the 49ers, I believe. He's really been a bright spot for them. He was an A+ hire, especially their last one. Well, I guess not their last one, but the one before that. What was his name? Bill O'Brien. You know, uh when he traded away DeAndre Hopkins, that should tell you all. What did he trade away for, like a third round pick and like
David
who did
Johnson, washed up
yeah.
David.
Yeah, so like clearly something he drank some stupid juice that day. So anyways, to talk about the present instead of the past, I know the Texans don't want to talk about that. The 1 year turnaround CJ Stroud has made has been very impressive, and obviously the offensive stats back it up here. But I think the key here is to get on the third downs. And the Ravens are very good at doing that. They're very good at doing that. So I have a lot of confidence that the Ravens defense can handle them offensively. And do you want to read the rushing stats here?
Yeah, so for the offense, their rush play percentage is 41.35, which is 20th in the league. So they're definitely a passing team. They got 3.7 yards per rush, which is 29th in the league. And I want to say they did expect Damian Pierce to have a big year coming into this year, and he lost his starting job to Devin Singletary. So, I feel like the whole year their rushing was kind of lacking and it's kind of, sped up as of late.
Yeah, this
Um,
rush is awful.
yeah, they average 25.9 rushes per game, which is 23rd in the league. 95.7 rush yards per game, which is 25th in the league, and 0.6 rush touchdowns per game, which is 24th in the league. So not a very good rushing team. So our defense should look to really capitalize on that and just make it on one dimensional, making them just throw the ball. Hopefully we can get some picks. You see Jared's hyped. I like that.
They
Um
can't see me, so
as for the defense, opponent rush play percentage is 42.47. So opponents, they average out. They like to run the ball a little bit. Opponent yards per rush is 3.5, which is second. Opponent rushes per game is 27.1, which is 15th. So opponents like to run the ball on them a lot.
damn, yeah.
Um, opponent rush yards per game is 94.4, which is sixth in the league. And opponent rush touchdowns per game is 1.1, which is 27th in the league. So overall they're bad at running the ball, and opponents like to run the ball on them a lot. So uh, hopefully the
Yeah.
Ravens can get that going.
Yeah, and this is the big story coming into the day, or into the game, I should say. I heard a lot of people saying that the Texans just can't run the ball. A lot of this is, CJ Stroud's doing. So honestly, how would you even defend this? Like, I guess you got to give him the third down because if
Yeah.
you get him to third and shorts, I would trust the defense to stop a running attack like this
Yep.
on third down and one, third down and two. So, or third and goal or whatever. So, I guess we'll get into our predictions later. I'll read the offense. You read the defense here. Passing statistics. Pass play percentages at 58.65%, which is 13th in the league. Completion percentage is at 63.36%, which is 21st in the league. Yards per pass is at 7.3, which is fifth in the league. Passes per game is at 34.1, which is 14th in the league. Pass yards per game is at 247.4, which is sixth in the league. Interceptions thrown percentage is at 1.30%. We know CJ Stroud doesn't turn the ball over a lot. I think he had 5 picks only this year. But anyways, that percentage is second in the league. QB sack percentage is 7.11%, which is 22nd in the league. So that's something interesting to think about. Their offensive line seems to not be good at run blocking, and they don't seem to be good at protecting the quarterback. Maybe so. That's something to think. Maybe Clowney, Van Noy, away, and others can eat. So I'll pass it on to you for the defense here.
Yeah, so opponent pass play. I always say pass. Opponent pass play percentage is 57.53, which is 18th in the league. Opponent completion percentage is 68.9, which is 30th in the league. Opponent yards per pass is 7.0, which is 27th in the league. Opponent passes per game is 33.9, which is 19th in the league. Opponent pass yards per game is 235.9, which is 24th in the league. Opponent interception thrown is 2.62, which is 13th in the league. And their sack percentage is 7.56, which is 10th in the league.
Yeah.
So,
So their pass defense doesn't seem to be that good. I mean, never mind. It's not that great. You know, um, just I mean, 30th in the league. Like they're almost aligned their defenses, their opponents to get 70% completion percentage. So that might be something to look out for. Their rush defense seems to be a little bit up there, but their pass defense, we might need to go air raid in this game. Spread the ball out. Spread is air raid, spread offense in this game. So time for some four verticals out here. So I mean, what is your takeaway from this? I guess I'll say mine first. The obvious takeaway here is they're a very sorry, I almost freaking choked. They're a very pass happy team. CJ Stroud has been getting it done. And I mean, if he's getting it done, you can't run the ball. Why wouldn't he throw the ball almost 30 something times a game?
yeah.
So, no running game, a good running defense, a lot of passing game, but not a good passing defense. So it's like the antithesis on the other side. So I would assume that, do you even remember how we played Stroud early in the year?
Well, we got a ton of sacks on him. We
Yeah.
caught him for I think we forced him to, try to pass the ball a lot, try to throw the ball a lot. And
Mhm.
we got a lot of sacks on him. We made him very uncomfortable back there in the backfield. And we're going to have to do that again because, like the stats show, they're not a good running team. So they're going to be relying a lot on a pass and on their receivers get a lot of yak yards. And we got to make sure Stroud doesn't get a chance to throw that ball. So
Right, exactly. How many sacks did we get on him in that game?
you got like 5 or 4.
Yeah, and we caused a few turnovers as well. He didn't throw any interceptions that game, but he looked pretty good in that game. The times that he did get to throw the ball. So, it's. I mean, we think about it. We didn't have Van Noy at that point either. You
Nope.
know, and we didn't have Humphrey either. I don't think. Do we have Humphrey?
No, we didn't.
No, we didn't. So that's crazy. He's gonna miss both Houston matchups,
Come on,
and we
Marlo.
didn't. We didn't have Andrews the first time either. So we may have him the second time. So something to think about. So I kind of want to check this before we move on to the stats. Um, I want to see where we rank and everything. That is amazing. Besides this isn't amazing right here. 4.5 yards rush. Look at this. We're last almost in passes per game. Wait, what?
That's
Opponent passes per game. Oh, that's a defense. We're still pretty much last here, though. Wow. This is some good stuff, man.
yeah, it's amazing stuff.
That's some good stuff. Anyway, so move on to the stats now. I'll let you read off the player stats here offensively.
All right, so start out with their MVP, their new franchise quarterback, CJ Stroud. He's played in 15 games because he had that concussion problem, but he has 4,108 yards. He's completed 319 passes. He has 23 touchdowns and 5 interceptions. So he's very good at not turning the ball over, and he's deadly with his accuracy. That's one thing that I see every CJ Stroud game is he's always dotting teams up. Even when he's
Right.
getting pressured, even when he's getting hit, he's always throwing a dot. And that's what I like about him. He's a great QB. When it goes to the rushing attack, Devin Singletary's played all 17 games. He has 898 yards, averages 4.2 yards per carry. His longest was 24 yards, and he has 4 touchdowns. Um, Damian Pierce, as I mentioned earlier, he had a lot of big expectations coming into this season. Lost his job to Devin. He's played in 14 games. He only has 416 yards, 2.9 yards per carry. He's given a lot of Mark Ingram 2020 vibes right there. His longest rush was 22 yards, and he only has 2 touchdowns. And he averages 29 yards per game. And after that, it's just QBs and wide
I'm
receivers.
sorry. I'll move down for the receiving stats here.
Yeah, so their leading receiver is Nico Collins. He's played in 15 games, has 80 receptions, has 1,297 yards, and 8 touchdowns. That's a For a lot of receivers, that's an all-pro season. He's definitely thrown, flowing under the radar when it comes to underrated receivers this season, and he's definitely going to be a threat in the game on Saturday. He had a pretty good game against the Browns. I believe he caught 2 touchdown passes, so hopefully we can minimize that. Um, Tank Dell, the outstanding rookie wide receiver, his season was cut too short, but he played in 11 games. He had 47 receptions. He had 709 yards, and he had 7 touchdowns. Um, Dalton Schultz played in 15 games. He has 59 receptions. He has 635 yards, and he has 5 touchdowns. Noah Brown, who might not be playing this Saturday. He's played in 10 games, so he's been banged up a lot this season. Has 33 receptions, 567 yards, only 2 touchdowns. Robert Woods, who's always, reliable and handy. He's played in 14 games, 40 receptions, 426 yards, and he only has 1 touchdown. Brevin Jordan has played in 14 games, only has 17
Brethren.
receptions, and he only has 219 yards with 2 touchdowns. So, that's about their whole entire offense there. Um,
What do you take away from their offense here?
it's very spread out when it comes to the receivers. Their offense definitely allows all of their receivers to get the ball. And we're gonna see even more of that without Tank Dell and possibly without Noah Brown. We might see a lot of Dalton Schultz. So we have to be prepared for that. Um
Yeah, for sure. Like we said, talking about the stats earlier, they like to air it out. So air raid offense over there. No running, you know. So anyway, so move on to the defense here. Um their leading tackler on the team is Blake Cashman. Blake Cashman. But he has 56 solo tackles, 50 assisted, 106 total. Christian Harris has 65 solo tackles, 36 assisted, 101 total tackles. Um, Jalen Petrie has 58 total tackles, or 58 solo tackles, 26 assisted, 84 total tackles. Denzel Perryman has 45 solo tackles, 31 assisted, 76 total tackles. Steven Nelson has 48 total tackles, 15 assisted, and 63 total. Henry, I guess you're going to pronounce this 202.
202. Yeah.
Tutu. We'll just say Henry for now on. There's 35 solo tackles, 26 assisted, 61 total tackles. You know what's funny about him
But
is this is gonna be completely like unrelated to the video, but um in Madden when you used to do like created draft classes, they thought his name was offensive and they wouldn't let it. So I had to like put like tutu, like tutu, like it would not let me put that name.
wow,
So that's and then they wound up putting him in the game anyway. But anyway, to move back to the video, Jonathan Greenard has 36 solo tackles, 16 are assisted, and 52 total. And we're not going to read off every single guy. Um, their leading sack getter is Jonathan Greenard as well with 12 and a half sacks. Will Anderson Jr., the rookie phenom, has seven sacks this year. Sheldon Rankins has 6 sacks this year. Malik Collins has 5. Jerry Hughes has 3. Derek Barnett has 2.5. Blake Cashman, Khalil Davis, and Christian Harris have 2. Desmond King, he used to play for the Titans, didn't he?
yep, he did.
All right, so Desmond King has 1. Denzel Perryman and Kurt Hinish both have half a sack. Let's go to interceptions here. Their leading interception goer is Derek Stingley Jr. I believe he was drafted not this draft, but last draft. He has 5 interceptions. Steven Nelson has 4. DeAndre Houston Carson has 2. That's kind of funny. DeAndre Houston Carson, he plays for Houston. Blake Cashman, Jimmy Ward, and Shaquille Griffin both have 1. All have 1. So, let me see here. Well, that's it. So yeah, you know, I think the easiest thing to take away from this is, they definitely seem to generate decent amount of pressure here. With one of their guys almost getting 13 sacks, and then a lot of guys almost getting close to 8 or 9. They also seem to Derek Stingley Jr. believes their best cornerback. Um, he's really progressed from year 1 to year 2. I believe this is his second year, right?
Yeah, it's third year, I believe.
Third year?
He was drafted in 2020.
All right,
No,
no,
no, yeah,
2021.
third.
It's third. All right,
Yeah,
so
it's third.
he's been. I mean, he's only played in 11 games this year, but I mean, for only 11 games to have 5 picks, that's genuinely impressive. That's genuinely impressive. So I'm just gonna stop sharing my screen. The Texans have a lot of young guys on their team. But they got a lot of good young guys on their team. And they have a lot of guys who seem like they're seasoned veterans already. So honestly, to move on to predictions, like what do you predict here? And we'll predict the other games as well on a divisional weekend. But what do you think this? What do you think? What are your predictions for this game? Do you think we win? What do you think the score will be? And so on.
I predict this game to be a Ravens win. I feel like the Ravens this postseason are on a mission to right the wrongs of the 2019 postseason. And also, 2020 and 2018, they really want, and especially Lamar, I feel like he's on a personal vendetta to prove that, he is an elite QB and shouldn't be questioned. And I believe, this game starts out pretty tight in the beginning, but I believe the Ravens pull away and they win 27-17. Um, I also wouldn't be surprised if the score ends up being like 20 to 9 or something like that. But I mostly am rocking with 27-17. You know, that's what I think.
Well, for me, I'm gonna go a little bit more high scoring. I think the Ravens do win this game as well. I think Lamar finally has like his good offensive performance in his playoff game. I think the Ravens win 31. I say 31-21. I think that they get a little few points early, but the Ravens defense kind of locks in. Offense may struggle at first due to rust, but I think they really ultimately pull the game away. Honestly, I think we're going to cause some turnovers in this game. I really do. Since they have no running game, I think they're going to air it out more. I think guys like maybe like Geno Stone, Kyle Hamilton, and Marcus Williams, all our safeties are going to be important in this game, to get some turnovers in this game.
Yeah.
So, and their offensive line doesn't seem to be the greatest. So get some pressure on them, get some sacks, get some fumbles, So, I mean, that's kind of my prediction for that game. Um, you know, give me your predictions for the other games on divisional weekend. You don't have to predict scores; you just got to predict the games.
Um, you know, I would like to see the Bills win. I would like to see a Ravens and Bills AFC Championship game. I really like Josh Allen a lot. I respect him a lot as a QB. Obviously, we love Lamar. I feel like that would be a great duel. Something fresh too. Not Mahomes and Burrow or Mahomes and Allen every year. Lamar versus Allen. I feel like that would be a fresh matchup, and a way for Lamar to also get revenge from 2020. He got knocked out of that game from a concussion, and at his own home field. So I would like to see that. As for the NFC, I would like to see the Packers beat the 49ers. I remember I said this to you earlier. I don't really like Shanahan. I feel like he just has this stuck up attitude, this arrogant attitude. I want to see him get upset. So I want to see the Packers win that game, and I want to see the Bucks win against the Lions. Honestly, I don't know because I think I want to see the Lions win. I want to see the Lions win. So it'll be a Packers versus Lions NFC Championship game, and that would be insane. And hopefully we can see a Jordan Love versus Lamar duel in the Super Bowl. I feel like that would be pretty sick. So,
Hmm.
what about you?
For
How do you
for
feel?
me, I want to say the Bills, but I know if I say that, I'm gonna be burnt. I'm gonna go with Chiefs in this game. I know you're probably thinking like, man, what like again in the AFC Championship game, and they have trash receivers and whatnot, but this big storyline is gonna be Mahomes' first game on the road. They're not gonna let him lose this game. Sorry. Um, they're always gonna have him in the championship game. Um, so I think the Chiefs are gonna win. So sorry, Bills. And then on the NFC side, I think the Lions win that game as well versus the Bucks. I don't think it's going to be a blowout, but I think it's probably going to be a close game, probably a high scoring game as well. Um, and then Packers versus 49ers. I'm gonna go 49ers. Um, we'll predict the championship weekend. Well, I mean, if we even are in the championship game, hopefully. But and later. I mean, you kind of already made your predictions already. Ravens and Packers. I guess I'll just do it just in case. Um, I think that in the NFC Championship game, it'd be 49ers Lions, and then it'd be Ravens and Chiefs. I think the Ravens win the AFC Championship game this year. And then the 49ers, I don't want to say Lions because that's just going to seem weird, but do you think the Lions can be the 49ers?
I want anybody to beat the 49ers. I don't want to see them make it. I want to see somebody new in the Super Bowl this year. I don't want it to be anybody we've seen in the past 5 years. So
I'm going to go 49ers, but if it would be the Lions, I wouldn't be surprised.
yeah.
So I don't want to say the Lions, but oh my God, because like it just seems like wrong. But you know what? Screw it. If it's a bad take, it's a bad take, whatever. I'm going Lions, even though it probably won't be the Lions. But Lions Ravens Super Bowl. How about that? Hell of a Super Bowl, right? The rematch of week, whatever it was, 5
Yeah.
or 6. So
I
that's
like I like that.
Nostradamus, just or Jarstradamus. Jarstradamus. That's
Well,
my prediction.
there's our predictions. Hey, hopefully we can make it that far. We're definitely not trying to sound cocky or anything, but
Right. Yeah. No, not overlooking anybody, especially the Texans.
we're really confident in this team this
Hmm.
year. We believe it'll be different. So, hopefully you guys aren't taking our humbleness as cockiness because we're definitely just as scared as every other team is. But I mean, I think that's all we have for you guys in this video today. Is there anything else more that you wanted to add?
Let's end this playoff narrative.
Yeah, man. Let's end this playoff narrative. Let's get that W, one game at a time.
Yep.
And no, I also just want
Oh,
to say,
and sorry. Stay tuned for maybe for a possible vlog video, our first ever.
oh
Something to
yeah,
think
oh
about.
yeah, oh yeah, that's gonna be fun. But I just wanted to say to you guys, this will probably be our last video, until the Texans post game, recap, until that vlog that we put out. And I just want to say, if you guys are going to the game this weekend, I hope we can all have a safe, experience at the game, going
I'll
to
say hey.
and just get a win too. So I just hope it's a great vibes for everybody. But that's all we got for you guys today. Make sure to follow. I didn't say subscribe this time. Make sure to follow our social medias. our Instagram, our Twitter, our TikTok. We're going up. Make sure to check out our shorts too. And also make sure to check out our other channel, Casual Cinema. We will be turning there soon, probably after this this NFL season. But just check it out, give it a chance. But that's all we got for you guys today. TJ and Jared out. Ravens win on Saturday. Yes, sir.
Yeah, of course. I
Come
know
on,
that's a terrible
come
ending.
on,
Hold
boy.
on.
You're right, man. Ravens win on Saturday. Let me hear it.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. All right. I like that. I like that.
Yeah. All right, we're out. We're out.